all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey ladies, it's your girl Truly Inspired Martin, and you're not here by chance. Nah, baby, this is on purpose, because what we do here is equip and empower you to become the woman that you desire and deserve. You are here because you are ready to restore, reset, and reclaim your life and increase your emotional intelligence. That won't happen everywhere, but here we make shit happen. So let's get it. Hey ladies, it's your girl Truly Inspired Martin, and baby, we are back and better than ever every Thursday, 7 a.m. Catch us on every podcast platform. And I know you've been out here working on you. I see you, girl, doing what you do. But guess what? The journey continues. So if you are truly ready to go from BS to success, welcome back to the ReCrown You Podcast. Everybody wants to be, but nobody wants to do. Girl, it's time to be real, raw, and relentless. Everybody wants to be, but nobody wants to do. You know it's time. ReCrown You. What's up, guys? It's your girl, Truly Inspired Martin, and welcome to the ReCrown You Podcast. I know y'all been waiting for me to go live like this. Like, y'all want to see me because y'all hear me all the time. And I ain't really been trying to give y'all all of that, but I guess I'm going to give y'all what you want. But welcome back to the ReCrown You Podcast. And for those that are new to me, welcome in. We cannot wait for you to get just a little drop of what we give you over here on the ReCrown You Podcast. For those that are just entering the building, here at the ReCrown You Podcast, we are all things emotional intelligence. So that means we are trying to help you elevate and amplify your self-awareness by just knowing what those things are that trigger you, knowing what those things are that you've gone through that tie to the bigger picture, right? So we empower and we equip, but the work is on you, mama. You got to do the rest. Like, I can't do everything for you. I can just give you a little tit, a little tat, and you got to tit-tat on your own, right? So I am so excited for today's episode because y'all know that I love to bring together women. But we on a whole nother level today because, like, I feel like I got an army behind me, right? Like, you know how Destiny's Child used to be out here doing their thing? Well, I'm like Destiny's Child ×2 right now because we got a gang in the background right now. So I hope that y'all are ready to meet my crew. So I'm going to go ahead and bring them in and introduce them to you. On today's episode of the ReCrown You Podcast, it's Girls Talk. And I know y'all been waiting for this. So here they are. So we're going to go ahead and start how I see you. So Makini, we're going to start with you and we're going to go around the room like this, right? So first of all, I want you to introduce yourself to the people and I want you to answer this question. You ready for the question? What age do your parents think you lost your virginity? So let's talk about it. There you go.
I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and the age my parents think I lost my virginity was 16.
16?
Yep.
Okay. Shout out to the parents. I hope y'all hearing this now. Okay, Cristal. Spelled the correct way, it says.
Okay. I was waiting on you to give me some more instructions. But
Same question, baby. Same question. I need you to just introduce yourself. And what age do your parents think that you lost your virginity?
Hello, everyone. I'm Cristal, and I represent Metro Atlanta. And I'm a true Southern Belle. So my parents think that I have not lost my virginity yet because I'm not married as of now. I do have a 20-year-old, but they think she magically appeared.
Yo, I can't. Hold on. We're going to get back to that. Mel B. Cook, go ahead and introduce yourself. And what age do your parents think that you lost your virginity?
Greetings, it is your girl Mel B. Cook. And the age my parents think I lost my virginity was 16.
I'm hearing a consistent 16. Okay. Good. Thank you. Marlene, introduce yourself. What age do your parents think you lost your virginity?
Hi, everyone. I'm Marlene. My parents don't really know when I lost my virginity, but I lost it at 20.
I applaud you, baby. I got one friend that I know in my head that did not lose it till like her senior year of college, and she held that thing down. All right, Cristal.
Hey, so I'm Cristal Bubblin, based in Los Angeles, and my parents think I lost my virginity at the age of 16. So obviously, I lost my virginity at the age of 16.
Obviously, because I mean, what else would it be?
Of course.
Jahtier, introduce yourself to the people. What age do your parents think you lost your virginity?
Hello, everyone. I hope we all had a wonderful day today. I'm originally from South Carolina. I currently reside in Stockbridge, Georgia. And my dad, I don't think he wanted to think too much about it. He really ain't conversed about it. But my mom told me after my sister got pregnant, around her freshman year in Spelman, she said she thought we were virgins until that happened. So I guess you could say mid to early college years, 07-ish.
So that's like what, 18, 19?
Yeah, like that's what she guesstimates, But a lady doesn't tell the truth.
The lady doesn't tell. I love it. So yeah, what is your age of loss in your parents' eyes?
Hi, everybody. I'm Toya, Exnicious, and I think they think I was a virgin when I got married at 23, and I was actually.
Oh wow! Oh, I love these. This is the perspectives are pouring in, right? So I guess I don't ask y'all all y'all business. I guess I got to answer the same question. So, I don't think my dad even fathomed that I ever did that in life. But I believe that my mom swears now that she always knew, but they be always saying stuff. But I think she thinks it was probably like 16, 17. But during the course of this conversation, I will actually reveal what that actually was. And I think that that's going to kind of go along with where we're going with all of this. So we're going to go ahead and start this conversation off, and it's going to get real. It's going to get raw. Okay. And I want y'all to be able to put y'all heart on the line, because over here at the ReCrown You Podcast, baby, we don't play no games, right? We let it loose. We want to be relatable, right? We want to be able to give the women something that they can understand. And there's so many different perspectives here. And I think that that's going to be really important. So one of the things I want y'all to know as well, because now that you guys are on the ReCrown You Podcast, I am now initiating y'all into the Baddies Club. And I know you're like, okay, baddies, that sounds like something real, mainstream, like it's in these streets. But baddies over here is a whole different term, right? So baddies are women who are real, they are raw, they are resilient, they are resourceful, and they are relentless, right? So there is something along your energy, your path that said, you know what? Y'all need to come on over here on the ReCrown You Podcast, because you exude one of those principles, right? So I want y'all to remember that as we move forward, okay? So we're going to go ahead and play this clip. So, all right, let me backtrack a little bit, y'all. So your girl was just minding her little black business, right? And I was on the Shade Room, and I saw this clip that I'm about to play for y'all, right? I saw this clip, and I was like, ooh, that's a major flex, right? Like, we'll see my comment as time comes on, right? And I said what I said, and I said what I said, right? And I'll go into the reasons why I said what I said as well. But they done pinned it, child. They done pinned the comment. The trolls done came. The people done said what they had to say. Things got a little haywire. I also heard, and anybody that's out there listening right now, if you can find or track down this clip from the Big Tigger show, the Shamia Morning show, I was told and instructed that my comment from the Shade Room was read on this show a couple mornings ago. I want to find it. I want to hear it. I want to hear what they had to say about it. So I'm going to just send all y'all out there to find that information for me. But interestingly enough, obviously I said something that ruffled some feathers. So we're going to go ahead and share this clip. Give it to me one time. I might have to run it back more than once to get it to play. Let's go. Let's see.
Oh my God.
Let's restart that. Here we go.
A virgin?
I am.
Oh my God, I love this. This is the most original guest we've ever had on. And what are you, 39?
I am.
Oh my God. That dam is going to break one day, baby. And
Baby, let me tell you right now. People were like, oh, Yvonne, I was like, pray for him. Whoever he is. Y'all need to go pray for him. You get a lot of pent up energy up in here.
Oh my God. And you're going to hit your sexual peak when you start having sex. So yeah, you're going to need a couple of men probably.
Yvonne went from being a virgin to polyamory.
Are you still a virgin?
I am.
Oh my God, I love
All right,
this.
let's go ahead and pause that clip. I'm going to stop sharing that for a second. Really, really interesting conversation. And let's kind of see what my comment said, right? Let's pull that to the forefront. Because, I got friends on here, right? Like, some of y'all actually, like, know me. And, y'all even was like, girl, bye. That is no flex. I ain't got time for you today, Dana. Right? But you can see my comment here, which is still pinned, Lord. And it's not going to stop. But the comment is that I made. I said major, and I did my little New York clapping hands, major flex, right? I don't care. That is amazing. You can't say that woman don't have strong willpower and know how to be consistent at something. Because baby, when that seal breaks, the floodgate's going to be forever flowing. Bless that man, whomever he may be in the future. LOL. Okay? So that was my comment on that. So y'all already know what I said. So it's time for me to hear what y'all say, right? And I'm gonna go ahead. I want to start with somebody that actually agrees with me first, right? I want to feel like I got an ally, and then we can go into the combats. Okay. So let me look at these little headlines, because everybody got a little something under their name, right? So Makini said she's with Uncle Shannon. She want to send her. You sound like you're not on my side. So we gonna pause you for a second, okay? So Cristal, a true Southern belle, no flex. Okay, I'm gonna come back to you too. Like, I feel like the odds is not in my favor right now.
No, I'm on your side.
You on my side? Okay, all right. We'll bring you back, Cristal. Look, Cristal spelled the correct way. Talk to me.
Oh. Well, I do feel like once you do decide to, did she say she was going to wait till she get married? Is that what she's waiting for?
I think that is what she said.
No, she mentioned going from being a virgin to being in a polyamorous relationship.
No, I think she mentioned that. She said that. No, she said that.
Joking. Yeah,
that was a joke.
But she is saving herself for marriage.
Yeah, I read her book. So
I think that's very honorable to be saving herself for marriage. And it takes a certain type of willpower, like you mentioned, because we don't be waiting that long. Like, we done had some experience by the time we're 39. We done indulged in more than one person, more than likely, at the age of 39. So I think it's a very honorable thing to have that much respect and willpower and discipline.
That's all I'm saying. She's standing on business. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I just learned that today. I just learned that bit today. I put that on my Facebook. What does standing on business mean?
You about yours. Like you following through on whatever, you holding tight on that thing. Like whatever you said, you doing you in every capacity of what that means. Like,
yeah, my daughter broke it down to me today.
Yeah. Shout out to your daughter, because Drewski done made that a whole thing out here, standing on business. That junk is a whole song now. But that's what it is for me though. Like, you have the type of willpower that is just like, and that's not to say, and I think a lot of people is getting it confused, because I wasn't saying it in a way where it's like one is better than the other. I feel like two things can be right? And I'm saying it in a way where it's like, shoot, I mean, I ain't do that, but shout out to you, sis. Like, it was more like that for me.
If I knew then what I know now, I would have waited a very long time. Yeah, I would have.
I wouldn't have waited to marry.
I don't know if I would have waited till 39 per se.
But I would have waited.
Yeah. Because you also have to know the value of yourself. A lot of people in here mentioned that their parents thought they lost it at 16, which means they probably lost it before then, which also means you wasn't mature enough to know the value of what losing your virginity really entailed. So
why are you snitching?
I have a
why are you snitching? The question was asked. We answered.
I have a chime in because I want to say I play devil's advocate. To me, it could be a flex, but it's all about the intentions behind it, because a lot of people are exposed to a lot of different things. So, and I want to go into the context of virgin. Is she like a virgin nobody's ever touched? She's never like been touched at all in no places, or like virgin as in I might have sampled one time and decided I never want to do it again, so I'm a virgin.
That's an interesting perspective on that. I think one of the things I heard Mel say on Facebook, Jesus, what it Mel, I can't even get it out. Yo,
don't be shy. Do not be shy.
She definitely said a lot of these people out here be talking about they virgins, but they ain't virgins in the throat.
Right? Exactly. That's why I'm saying that some people say they virgins, but they might have took anal. Some people might have said they virgins, but they, only give mouth service. So I want to know the full concept of virgin, because people define virgin by different things. I've known people who say I'm a virgin, but they've partaked in a bunch of different activities. So in my personal opinion, I'm playing devil's advocate, because it could be a flex if your intentions are pure and you said, look, I'm standing on nothing. Nobody's going to touch me till I get married. But at the same time, you might have somebody who was molested or raped at a young age and never partook again. So they would consider themselves virgins because they didn't willingly give their body away. Or
we all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once, and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
It could be a flex or it could not be a flex, because what if, hypothetically speaking, like someone who might, not saying this is the case, but somebody who, their parent passed on HIV or something through birth, and they decided, well, I don't want to contaminate the whole world, so I'm just going to stay to myself. I mean, to me, it all goes to the intentions and more in depth what your mental what your mental is and how you convey yourself. Like some people who have indulged in sexual activities might have came from a broken home and was seeking validation, and that was the only way they received or perceived it.
I feel like it's not to us to decipher how much of a virgin a person is. If they say they're a virgin, and that's their own validation, it's not needed by anybody else. They're a virgin.
So I will say I read her book. It's right back here on my little shelf here. And she did talk about how through life it was really hard for her for dating and etc. because she wasn't sexually active. She was a virgin. So I don't know her personally, but I did read her little memoir that she got, or her little book here. And it was a good book. And she talked about how her parents is Nigerian to the fullest. Like, I don't know if y'all know how African parents are, but Nigerian parents be like, no, doctor, lawyer, engineer, what you want to be. And so she was the child that was like, oh no, I'm going against the grain. But she said she wasn't going against the grain with that because she really has a firm and a huge standing on God. Like, she's standing on business when it comes to the Lord. And she says that in the book. Like, that is what the book is about. But to me, it ain't a flex. It's not a flex, but it's not a flex. I really just think it just depends on you as a person and what you want and what you believe in. Ultimately, my little headline do say I'm with Uncle Shannon. I want a sinner. Him and Ocho Cinco did their podcast talking about it, and Ocho was like, "You need Yvonne Orji," and Uncle Shannon was like, "No." He was like, "I want a sinner. I'm too old to be. I want a sinner. I want her nasty." And I felt that because I am currently not sexually active, and I don't want to be sexually active again until I have somebody that I'm seriously dating that I think is going to be my husband. But there's no way he's sliding a ring on this finger without me test driving that car. And that's just what it is. I know for myself that sex is going to play a huge role in my relationship and in my marriage. And so, because I know that I like sex, really like sex, then I know that the marriage won't last if we lay down in that bed that first night and I'm like, oh no, what's going on here? Like, he doesn't know what he's doing. He can't find it's gonna be a problem. So I just myself personally feel like we have to get a sample, a decent sample, really like a wedding sample, like you sampling everything before we go down that aisle, because I just don't want it to be. And yes, you can teach people, but I've been a teacher for 10 years. My teaching days is almost done. I don't have time to teach a grown man what to do in the bedroom. And so I'm just like I said, I'm with Uncle Shannon. I want a sinner who is now a saint, because every saint was once a sinner.
We fall down, but we get up.
Amen.
She is a trip. That's honest though. You are a trip, but that's real.
So real quick, I want y'all to because she's talking about something that Uncle Shannon said. I'm calling this man Uncle Shannon now. And I want y'all to actually hear what this man said.
To self-aligned in the right places, being unionized with because she would be perfect for you and what you have going on. Not only is she walking the path of righteousness, but she has the vision that can open the door where you trying to get to. Now, what you think about that?
I'm looking for a sinner. I'm looking for a sinner. I'm looking for a sinner. Send me Miss Nasty B. What her name was? The one that you said with the umbrella?
Miss Nasty.
Yeah. I'm looking for. I don't want nobody walking straight and narrow.
Oh, come on.
Nah. So, I want a sinner.
Listen, I thought we is
That's what.
That took me out. Funny thing is, though, I asked my husband the same question. I said, what you think about this whole situation? He was like, yeah, it kind of made me think though, why is she still, I don't know if I would want that. Like, I don't know if I'd want those problems, right? So, Cristal, down here, I want to hear what you had to say, because you definitely came on my joint and kind of like he was like, girl, shut up.
Well, so I don't think it's a flex at all. Virginity is, like I said, virginity is a construct that's used to oppress women. It's this abstract thing, like calling women hoes. What is the metric for being a hoe? How many partners over how much time equals hoe? Because some men will be like, oh, well, she had sex with 2 people in her life and she, 30. Well, so that's one person every 15 years. Or if I started having sex when I was 16, that's like one person every 7 years, and I'm a hoe. And then there are people who have had, say they're 40 and they've had 20 partners. So that's 2 people. That's one person every 6 months. So what is the metric for being a hoe? What is the metric for being a virgin? Science doesn't back up virginity either, because they say you lose your virginity when your hymen breaks. Well, your hymen can break when you're walking fast, when you're doing a cartwheel. So I'm 6 years old playing with my friends in the yard. I do a cartwheel, my hymen breaks. I didn't have sex. I'm still technically a virgin. And what is the thing is, like, also what is she saving it for? Like, I get the whole, okay, she's saving it for marriage. But the thing is, now you're 40, you're probably relatively inexperienced. So that man that you're with is gonna have to teach you, and or
daughter Miss Nasty B.
Right. And I also feel like it's a thing where that inexperience can lead to some naivete, which can open you up for manipulation. And I'm not saying anybody watching this, I'm not saying go tell your teenage daughters to go out and have sex so they can't be manipulated. But what I am saying is that I think that a lot of times too, under the guise of religion, it puts especially women in this shelter where it makes us it keeps us barricaded from the real world and the realities of life and the realities of the experience of living life and growing up. And then the other thing, again, we're going to go back to biology, going to go back to science. When you 39, 40, our bodies start to change. So girl, like, you gave up on the Gorilla Grip extra slip years. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm saying, like, they say we hit our peak between 30s and 40s. You know what I mean? But just because, okay, so for me, it's a personal thing. I had fibroids, and because of birth control, I was sent into menopause early at like 36. And nobody gave me the manual. Nobody told me when I was 25 that this would happen. So, you never know what can happen. Like they say, between 30s and 40s, and my doctor has informed me, like, we get our last surges of estrogen around 35. That's when that libido goes crazy. And then 40s, early 40s, mid 40s start to go down. So girl, like, I would just hate for my first experience to have to involve some jellies,
all of that,
other things. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing if that's elective. It's another thing if it's a prerequisite. You know what I'm saying? So
come on, prerequisite.
Right. Come on with the college terms. All right, now.
You just said something earlier that I have to tap in. You use the word religion. So Toya, know I'm about to tap her on the shoulder. Cause that's my gangster preacher right there. Right?
Okay.
That it's a whole different angle for sis over here. So I saw you kind of shake your head, and you was feeling when she was starting to hit that thing. So I want you to kind of slide in there and give me a little perspective on coming from like that religious standpoint and all that stuff. Cause you definitely was on my page too. Like, yeah, all right, sis. So I want to hear that because that was also interesting coming from that sector, right? So I want to hear your perspective there.
Well, child, yes, I was. Amen to you, Cristal. I was on mute, but you couldn't hear me, but I was definitely giving you all the love. Peanut gallery. But yeah, I am an ordained minister and have been in ministry for over 20 years. And I've seen the effects poor doctrine has had on women. And I think even, especially Black women, and I think I might be all over the place. I got so many thoughts. I told you, Dana, I could go on and on and on. But I think the reason why a lot of women, Black women specifically, have fibroids, speaking of fibroids, is because of sexual suppression, is because of we house guilt and shame in our wombs. And we've been shamed and objectified for so long. All of that emotion is housed we hold it in our womb. And it starts to turn into disease. And I think when you start talking about sexuality as if it's something shameful, as if it's something sinful, as if it's something dirty, as if it's something egregious, it's none of those things. And then you cite the source as the Bible, but the Bible doesn't even have enough span of examples of women in it. And even the stories we hear about women in the Bible weren't even the women telling their own stories. It was men talking about women and men telling the stories of women. You can imagine Mary, the mother of Jesus. What if she penned her own story? Then we would know what he was like at 3 years old, at 5 years old, at 12 years, when he took his first steps. We would know that as a mother. But because a man told his story, it's like, well, Jesus just was 30. You know what I'm saying? Like Mary had him and then he was 30 doing miracles. We don't know anything about the man person figure we call a savior. We don't know. We just know the time you know what I'm saying? And so for women to take this gospel and esteem it in such a way when it has very little representation of us in it. And so I think that's when you have to start looking at it with more of a critical eye and think about the times. You're talking about a time, the Bible, so if she's a virgin because for biblical reasons, you're talking about a time women couldn't own land, could barely speak, had no rights, had no privileges, had nothing. Of course, they're telling you, and also, you can't have sex either. Of course, because we couldn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's a matter of morality. That's a matter of control. We can move the whole earth from our wombs. The whole earth. We can move and impact from our sacral center in our womb. We can. But if we're in guilt, not if we're in shame, not if we think something's wrong and we're dirty and we're hoes and we're used goods and we're damaged, right? Also, we're being raised and conditioned in the fashion of purity, but the men that pursue us are not. So who are we being prepared for? Because every man that I've seen is like, I'm straight, I'm good, I don't want that. But we're being taught, hold yourself, keep yourself, be valuable. They value you more when you do it, all the things. And then men looking at it like, no, I don't. I don't value that. I value experience. I value somebody that's going to swing from the chandeliers. I value somebody that's going to make it hot, drop it low. I value somebody that know how to put it to the back of her throat. This is what they value. I'm not saying in totality or holistically, but I'm saying the conditioning of men is so vastly different from the conditioning of women. And it's not fair that we hold the burden of morality for everybody. And They're not held to the same standard of morality that we are. That's not, I grew up in purity culture where we're teaching all the girls, keep yourself, purity conferences, virginity rings, all the things. We ain't telling the boys that. And if a boy a virgin,
I want to chime in on that too, because it really depends on where you're from. And I will say this: I'm from South Georgia, where it's real country, real Southern, right? And there is a double standard when it comes to what men are teaching boys and women are teaching women. There is definitely a double standard. But I can say when they're having these purity things going on, and where I'm from, it's taught both to men, boys and girls that take these classes in the church, in Southern Baptist Church, where you having all these things going on and being taught. But I will say in that aspect, I understand what you're saying when it comes to the womb and religion, because I'm a spiritual person. But I also feel like it needs to be taught
We all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once, and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
The mental health aspects of having sex. And that's what is also missing, because you also know when you intertwine with someone and you engage with them sexually, that's a deeper connection than just the sex and organs. It's a mental connection. It's a spiritual connection. And so that needs to be taught as the realm to both men and both or boys and to girls, that, hey, beyond you just exchanging fluids and body parts, it's a mental connection that goes on beyond what you can understand in the depths of your teenage or young years, that should hold people to the standard of you understand the capacity and responsibility that comes in that you would want to wait longer, not necessarily wait till you're married, quote unquote, but wait until you understand the realm of what it really entails when it comes to sexual being involved with other people.
I agree, but I don't think sex is any different than anything else, because we say sin is sin is sin is sin. All sin is the same, but then we elevate certain sins above others, and then we say, but don't be gay.
True.
Sin is sin is sin is sin is sin. Don't be a hoe. But we say it's all the same. So is it all the same or is it not? And I feel like what you're saying is true, but I feel like that can be taught just in teaching about character and integrity, period. You know what I'm saying? Good decision making, period. And I feel like women should know they have agency over their own bodies and they can decide. You can choose. You don't have to, just because there's this thing out here that no, it's your body. And you have complete authority and agency over your body. And it's more important that you're clear about your decision making, and you're clear and you have contact with your spirit than nitpicking every single little thing. That'll take you in any scenario. You need to know this don't feel right. This person don't feel right. This moment doesn't feel right. I'm scared. I shouldn't make a decision when I'm in this much fear, or I don't have any peace, or I'm in disobedience to my parents and my authority. But that translates in any aspect of life, not just sex. So if you teach your child integrity and character and how to be in contact with their spirit at all moments, that'll give them more. I feel like that's a more rooted approach than just elevating sex here. It's like, no, you need to know how to make good choices, period.
And I feel like, even with that being said, because so many women that's on here right now has lost their virginity before they were 16. Because religion was thrown. Well, this is what you're supposed to do. But if women was taught the morale and the morals behind, you need to wait because of character, use your discernment, because how you feel and this is your body. A lot of these young women that had sex prior to 16 probably wouldn't have. But that is that what has not been taught. So that's the element that needs to be, especially, and I can only speak on being Black in the Black community.
I agree.
But I think self-awareness isn't taught, right? Like, it's self-awareness. So if you go back to both Toya and Cristal, some of the comments about having agency of your body, understanding when your choices and your decisions are not coming from you. Yeah, we have a tendency at a very young age to wrap it in morality because we don't also teach self-awareness. So like, if I decide that, so I don't think, for the record, I don't think it's a flex or not a flex, right? I think it's only a flex if this is the discipline that you want to instill, but not from a religious perspective. If behind your decision is that I am making this decision to please other people or because I want to be seen in a certain way, then it's not your decision, and your decision lacks self-awareness, right? Meaning we're making this decision just so that I can be pleasing to others. So that goes back into a lot of us our morals being rooted in the Black church when we're not even religious, right? So now
wait. Hold the church. Hold the mic. Run that back.
A lot of our morals are rooted in the church, even though we're not religious, right? A lot of laws, a lot of construct comes from the fact of religion, but many of us are not religious. And so like when we are teaching people how to navigate the world, we normally give them a book of morality of some sort of religious construct. Now, I'm not going to say that it's not a great way to kind of live and to be and to, make sure that you're kind of staying on the right track. However, you have to know that you're seeking that for yourself because that is structure that works for you. And so in that context, like when I'm teaching my now 11-year-old and I have also a 23-year-old daughter or niece that's like my daughter, when we're having conversations, we're talking about what feels good to them, what makes them feel like it, and not trying to wrap it in misogyny.
I'll say I think that that's what is missing the most. I grew up, in a religious home. Like my grandpa was a pastor, my dad's a deacon. We've been in the church. I've been in the church my whole life. My decision to lose my virginity early didn't have anything to do with the church saying, don't. Yes, they said it. But when I look back and at this age that I am now, and I'm looking back on things that I've done in my teenage years, part of it is moms aren't having these conversations with daughters. One thing that stuck out to me when in looking back and doing my journey was that when my mom found a note in high school that said something and it had a condom with it. Mind you, I wasn't even thinking really about sex at the time. It was just, you riding with your friends and sometimes you flexing. I hung out with all the girls. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure I'm in the know and I got a little tea to give too. She found the condom and she took me out to eat. And all she asked me was, Makini, are you thinking about having sex? And I said no. And the conversation was, well, when you are, just let me know. And that was it. Nothing else came with that other than when you're thinking about it, let me know. And who's really going to sit their mom down and say, hey, girl, I am ready. Especially when you're a teenager. And they might be like, yes, okay, here's what mom is 30 years older than me. I don't have to get mom. My mother is part of that older generation. So there was not any sitting her down saying, hey, mom, I'm thinking about having sex, girl. I was terrified. And it was because my mom didn't have that conversation with me of self-awareness, of, hey, let me talk to you about what comes with all of this before you do it. Because, yeah, you could teach me in sex ed and in health what sex is. But you cannot teach me the emotions that are going to come with, especially when you're at such a young age and you just swear you love this person. I'm just so in love. So I think that's part of the issue as far as like, I don't know if it's for white women. I don't know because I'm not a white woman. I'm a Black woman that grew up in a Black home and is surrounded by tons of Black love and Black family. And none of me and my cousins were given these conversations. These conversations weren't had with us. And that's why I am only 2 of my first cousins that don't have children. All my other girl cousins have kids. And it was because nobody had the conversation of, this is your body. You want to protect it at all costs. What you have is valuable. What you have, you need to make somebody fight for. You need to make sure that person holds you in such a way that they deserve that power from you. Because at the end of the day, it is power. And so I think that that's part of the hugest problem. And I feel like, honestly, because of reading her book and knowing what type of parents she had, Nigerian, African parents don't play that at all.
They don't.
They do not play that at all.
Can we talk about that for a minute?
I don't know about African parents, honestly. I've never had too much.
One of my closest friends growing up is actually Nigerian. And we used to hate going over her house. Because the freedoms that we had when they spent the night at my house, now my mom didn't play that neither. We wasn't listening to secular music. We wasn't watching no crazy movies. Baby, I don't know if y'all know who Sweet Honey and the Rocky is, but they're like this little group that sing only like Negro spirituals. That's what was on the radio in the car, or the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. But only those 2 albums. And so, but my mom also like gave us just a little bit of freedom. Her parents, it was like, no, Dad, like, what y'all doing? Door open. What y'all talking about? And I'm like, whoa, wait, I'm not used to having my parents on my back like that. Like, they're really strict on how they want you to present themselves, because when you walk out into the world, you're not just you. You are your whole family. And so that is how Nigerian, Liberian families operate. And so I feel like with her parents, they weren't having that discussion. I'm sure if she probably would have brought sex up, they would have shut that down quick. Sex? What is that? What is sex? Like, they don't play that. So I think that that's part of the hugest part of the problem, honestly, not being able to be open enough to have those conversations with the people who are supposed to tell you that information.
But can we talk about that for a minute? Because I feel like there's 2 different things that happens, right? Society says wait. Your biology doesn't say wait. Like, your first sexual urges come between 9 and 13 years old. And so a lot of times we'll negate the fact that biology is happening, and because we want to like go into a societal standard. But the reality of it is we're all having thoughts, desires, like, maybe if I touch it a little this way, what's going to happen, right? And so, like, to your point, Makini, of like not having those conversations early enough because we want to apply some sort of societal norm, and we're excusing biology because it makes us uncomfortable to talk about the fact that you may have a sexual urge, but that doesn't mean you're going to become sexually active, or that doesn't mean that you're going to become promiscuous. It means I got a desire. So let's talk about my desires and back to the why I should wait. And I think a lot of times back to that whole, religious kind of culture, we put, oh, you're valuable. This is valuable. But why? It's not just because I have a vagina, right? Like, why is it that I'm valuable? Why shouldn't I give my body? And not just because, my vagina. What about my whole self?
Mm-hmm. I think that piggybacks to what Toya was saying as far as raising your child to be a good, upstanding individual and being in touch with their spirit. Because if you instill these conversations and you instill the value in them, like, hey, I don't like how this vibe is, I don't like that, they're going to rationalize themselves to be in that situation where it's like, okay, yeah, I know my body's reacting, but at the same time, something about this moment doesn't feel right. So I think that's still like double back to what Toya was initially breaking down, because no matter if you sit down and tell a child like, hey, this, that, they still have their own biology that might seek validation outside of you. So if you instill the strong enough system inside them to where they can rationally and make these decisions on their own when they're put in these predicaments, they'll know how to maneuver a lot better than a lot of us. I came from a single parent household, and my mom was in survival mode. So to be honest with you, between providing for myself and 2 other siblings, it never crossed her mind that we were thinking about sex or even going down that road, because she was trying to provide for us.
That's a good one. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I was gonna say, my mom was a single mom, and I grew up in the church too. And my sex talk was, sex is when a boy puts his thing in you, and then you get pregnant, and I ain't raising no babies. That was my exact
That's my mom said something similar. I'm not raising. She
Entire
waited till I was 17 to say I'm not raising no babies. That was
sex
it.
talk. And that was like, I think mine was like 12 or 13 after, they were teaching us in school. They were doing sex ed in school. And I'm like, yeah, mom. And da-da-da-da-da. She's like, listen, it's when a boy gets you pregnant and I ain't raising no babies. And that was it. And I just want to real quick, like something that Toya, again, like Toya mentioned, a thing I feel like we take for granted is the conditioning aspect of it. Like there's conditioning all around. As Black people, we've been conditioned by white supremacy. As women, we've been conditioned by patriarchy and misogyny. And the thing is that like the math don't math. We've been conditioned, right? We're conditioning girls, save yourself for that one. And, like Toya mentioned, a lot of men don't value that because men are being conditioned. Sow your oats, have your experiences so that when you find that one, it's not in your system and you want to go cheat or whatever. And the numbers, it don't add up because if the boys is out here knocking everything moving, but everything moving ain't hitting the boys, then who the boys knocking? And I think that too can lead to sexual assault, right? Because to the boys, it's like you supposed to be giving it to us, and the girls, we over here like, oh no, we're supposed to be saving it. But it's all conditioning, and like taking it back to Yvonne, like I feel like she definitely has been conditioned, and I vaguely remember listening to her podcast with Lovey Ajay. I vaguely remember her saying that she had done some things, but she hadn't done anything.
I swear she done did some things in some shows I watched. I thought she looked highly experienced, and
you know what, Yvonne telling us every 3 months that she's a virgin, every 3 business months that she's a virgin, it gives me Molly. And it gives me Molly in particular. I don't know if y'all remember the episode of Insecure when she was dating Jadena. Yes. And they went on like 2 dates and she was like, you can keep some stuff at my house. And then he showed up at that dinner thing with her friends and he introduced himself as her boyfriend. And she was like, boyfriend, what's up with that? And he was like, I thought you needed a win. That's Yvonne just constantly reminding us that Molly, she ain't done it because her parents. She want to do it. Right. Like, girl, you want to do it.
So did she have her own podcast? Like, this my first experience with her was this video that was on the Shade Room that caught a lot of buzz. I don't really know much about her.
I mean, I first seen her on Insecure.
She has a podcast with a writer named Lovey Ajay. They're both Nigerian, both grew up in the church. I don't think they do the podcast anymore, but they did probably about like 20 episodes. It's still up if you go back and listen, and they talked about all types of things. Because they're both first generation, and I think Lovey's not even first generation. She came over like middle school, high school from Nigeria. She came to America like middle school, high school from Nigeria. So
we all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once, and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
That's kind of what their premise was on their podcast. But I also want to mention, we have not heard from Marlene.
I was reading my mind. I'm over here like, hold on. How you think I moved her up there? I'm like, hold on now.
What is this? Well,
I
I
was in
know
everybody
it's something in your spirit. Let your spirit move you, sis.
Well, I was
I'm not saying the
listening to
same, but I'm
everybody,
gonna let you live.
and it seems like everything that everyone said is a part of my life. I did not lose my virginity until I actually had my son at 20, so I didn't lose my virginity until like 19, somewhere around there, almost 20. But I did the other things. I kissed. They gave me oral sex, all that stuff. So that's why I was trying to figure out like what defines a virgin, because I did not have any penetration until 19 and a half, but I experienced everything that you do besides that. So I guess it just depends on who would you consider being a virgin. And when they say that she's not going to have in my head, once I got the insertion, I knew everything I was doing. I ain't never watched a porn or nothing, but I was a pro at it, right? So when people be like, she ain't got the experience, I feel like you're born with the experience. So I guess my mind, and then I'm also raised in church as well. And since I was 5, and I'm like, did that play a part in it? But then it's like, no, because like this young lady Makini was saying, once you have the feeling, you can't, or I think Mel was saying, that feeling has nothing to do with our religion and how we was raised, because my mother spoke to us about sex every day because it's all girls. So she told us this is what it is. If you ever feel like you're going to have sex, we going to the doctor, birth control. She spoke about all that. I'm from California. So she spoke about all that stuff to us. So when I decided to lay down and finally have intercourse, it was because I wanted to. It had nothing to do with church. It had nothing to do with, am I going to go to hell? It was, I'm feeling good. I had the things I had before that felt good. Now I want to see what this feel like.
That's good. Y'all said a whole bunch of stuff, right? And all in the back of my head, I started thinking, and I think Marlene just said something about it. Cristal touched on it too, and somebody else said something. But I'm thinking back, right? Because you know how earlier we was talking about like, when do our parents think we lost our virginities, right? And I started to think about my actual life and what my mom does know or didn't find out until later in life. And I don't really have a direct answer for that. She just told me that she thought it was around that age. But if we're talking about the loss of virginity, right, in that context, when I willingly gave my body to someone else, right, because around 5th or 6th grade, I was gang raped. So what does that situation look like? When do I say, oh, I lost my virginity because they came and did what they needed to do for themselves and took something from me, so now my virginity has been stolen? Is that the answer that I give? Like, am I saying, oh yeah, I lost my virginity when this happened? Or is it, I lost, right, here go that word, I lost my virginity when I gave it up myself around the 8th grade, right? So there's a few years in between there of me being traumatized, and I go from being this person that is student council president, honor roll, like straight geek. You can call me a geek, a nerd, whatever. Like, I was on the ball, gifted and talented, this, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden this pivotal shift happened. And all of a sudden now I'm wondering if this is how certain things are supposed to be, right? If I'm just like, do I count that towards my bodies, right? Because they always talk about like body counts and all this stuff. Like, so do I count that towards my bodies, even though that had nothing to do with me? That was taken from me. So I guess that's a question that I would even like to like just kind of throw out there, like in a situation like that, because I know a lot of women in those situations, right, that have endured some kind of moment in their life where they were molested, they were, sexually assaulted, that whatever the situation is, something was taken from them without their consent, without their want to, right? And it's funny to me because I also remember my first time being pretty in alignment with being rough, right? And I know this is probably getting graphic for some of our guests and our audience, but we got to be honest, right? I remember the correlation between me being gang raped and me having my first time at sex. It wasn't like, you know how they be showing these stuff in the movies, like, it's so beautiful and there's butterflies and, he laid me on the silk sheets and gave it to me. It was none of that. It was none of that. It was literally, I remember bleeding on a sheet on a floor in the person I was dating, their bedroom, and we're on the freaking floor. Like, I'm thinking back to all this stuff, right? And it wasn't loving. It wasn't any of that. It was just like, let's get to it. Let's get it done. Wham, bam, damn near. Thank you, man. But I mean, we were dating, but that's how it felt, right?
Right.
Thinking about the correlation between those two, for one, but two, what is the definition? Cristal kind of hit it from the beginning, but what is the definition of me losing my virginity? Is it my willingness to give it up, or was it already lost when somebody took it?
So first of all, I want to say I hate that happened to you. You in no way deserve that, and please know that wasn't an experience that should have happened to you, right? Again, that goes back to what I was saying. Like, it's a construct, because, like, literally, what is virginity? What is this cup I bought? Was it a virgin before I drank from it? You know what I mean? Like, it has a hole. Like, it's one of those things that I just feel like is meant to put us in a box. Because, like, I once heard somebody say that monogamy was created so ugly men could have women, ugly broke men could have women, because all the attractive fine men were getting women. So how do you keep women from going out with these attractive fine men? The easiest way is to make her feel like she's less than for doing something, as Mel pointed out, that we have these biological urges to do. And, when you say the correlation between your assault and your first time, it sounds like coercion, which is another form of sexual assault. Just like, and for me, my first time, when I look back now, it was coercion. Come on, let's please, come on, why not? Come on. Okay, fine. Fine. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it also goes back to, as a couple people have mentioned, knowing your value, and knowing that your value is more than your vagina. Since we're specifically talking about this thing, it is more than your vagina. It's more than your having sex. It's more than this virginity construct. And I don't think that me myself personally, to Cristal Bubblin, I don't think that you got to count any of these bodies. I don't think that if you don't want to count none of them, you only got to count the one. If you only want to count the one you married, that's the only one that happened.
That's the only one that matters.
That's the only one that happened. That's the only one that we know.
Right.
Here.
That's right. No face, no case, baby. We don't know them fools.
Exactly. And that's your agency right there.
I'm sorry for that man. Who is that?
Okay. I do not know that man. I have no.
Right, I do not know that man. I don't know that stranger.
I've never done it. I don't have a ring. I've never done it. Sure.
But I also think it's very important. Better than what our parents did due diligence with us. I know my mother personally told me, don't be like me. Don't get pregnant when you 15, have a baby when you 16. I'm putting you on birth control. And I wasn't having sex at 15, 16 years old. But I also know that wasn't a due diligence to me to know, for me to have to learn on my own the value of who I was before I gave, someone my virginity. So, I know someone mentioned about that they didn't have kids, or kids didn't go to their parents back then. I can say my daughter's 20 going on 21. And we sat down and we had a talk when she was ready to actually engage in having sex. And she was 19 at the time. And she came to me because we have a very close relationship to say, Mom, I've been curious. I'm with someone, we're in a relationship, and it's not them that's telling me, but I've been really curious what it's like. And I said, well, this is what's going on. I talked to you about the value of who you are, your womanhood, you going in from a kid to a teenager to a young lady, and if you feel like you're ready for that moment, let's prepare you to go get you on some birth control to make sure that your mind is in the right space and where you really, we didn't have a ceremony, but we had a discussion because, I just felt more at ease that she was comfortable to come and talk to me, because I didn't feel at ease talking to my mother when I had my, when I lost my virginity. And I found that in a safer space that she can be comfortable to talk to me and come to me, because y'all know growing up. And so even with saying all that, it's to us now to make sure that we tell the future generation, the generation coming up, your own experience to prepare them for that moment. Not saying, hey, you're supposed to wait on this because the Bible says this, or you have to do this, but to teach them about the self-awareness, to teach them about the value of their body themselves, to tell them, yeah, if you're going to wait, then wait because you want to, and because you hold yourself in such high regard that this is why you choose to wait, and that you make the right decision best for yourself. And that you tell them that from the point of them becoming a teenager, so that it's like, okay, I'm not pressed for sex because I know that I got other stuff I need to focus on, whether it's extracurricular activities or whatever the case may be, as opposed to wanting to just know what it is and what it looks like.
I totally agree. I wanted to
go ahead, baby.
Piggyback off of or answer Dana's question about, again, your scenario. I'm also very sorry that happened to you. Yeah, you don't deserve that, and it wasn't your fault. I'm sure I know you've talked about doing your own work already, where that's concerned. But
oh yeah, I mean, I've talked about this for the past 10 years. So
right. Yeah. So, but I did want to say, I think that that's the danger in associating our value to what we do versus who we are. So it's like when you say, if you're a virgin, your purity makes your value here. That's a slippery slope, because then you have to deal with, okay, so when I make a mistake, now I'm in guilt, now I'm in shame, and now I'm measuring myself based on a behavior rather than my being. So it's like, no matter what you do, your being is your being. You're still worthy. You're still valuable. You're still loved. You're still forgiven. You're still favored. You're still all those things. And it's not associated with what you do. But conditioning has us measuring our being by what we do. And so then we live backwards. We live to get to perform, to do all the things right, but our being is not connected. It's not well. So you may be hitting the marks and I'm a virgin and I'm this and that, but you're not happy. You're in dread. You're in fear. You're in guilt. You're in shame. Yeah, you're a virgin, but your being is unwell. So you hit the mark of the doing and the behavior, but your being has nothing to do with that. Because before you do anything and after you do anything, you're worthy. You're valuable just because you showed up here, just because you're alive. Mistakes and all. If you make 50 mistakes, and what even is that? Because where's that being measured from? Because the truth of the matter is we're all on individual journeys. And things that are right for me in a season may not be right for you in that same season. Or it just may not be right for you, period. But that's an individual journey. It's not like one size fits all for women. One size fits all for single people. One size fits all for married people. You're on an individual journey, which is why I think like Cristal said, Toya Exnicious, me, think this is not thus said the Lord, and I'm not quoting a scripture. This is just me. I believe it's more valuable to know how just to navigate life in all of its decisions, all of the crossroads that you'll come to, the crossroad of sex, the crossroad of friendship, the crossroad of business, the crossroad of your finances. You need to know how to go inside and say what is right for me, and know and be in contact with what you're feeling from in your body from moment to moment, to know what is right specifically for you, and specifically moment to moment to moment to moment. And I think, when we focus so much on behavior, it just becomes a slippery slope. And I think when you build the individual learns the correct behaviors for them as they go versus the other way around. And so you wouldn't have to ask, so am I a virgin now because this tragic thing happened to me, how many it doesn't matter. You're worthy. You're valuable, whether you're still a virgin or not. Because what is a virgin? Like Cristal said, it does not matter. You still stand in a place. You still stand in a place of worthiness and divinity, regardless of your behavior. And then if you can stand there long enough, your worthiness and your divinity will inform your decision making. And then you'll start making decisions from a divine place and a worthy place versus one of lack, and one that needs to be approved, and one that needs to feel pure, just so you can stunt on other people and say you doing. That's really what it ends up being. A lot those people who are having sex before they get married, so and so and so and so and so down the line. And I think it's just conditioning. And when you're conditioned, you don't know you conditioned because you're conditioned. You know what I'm saying? Your mind is trained to think a certain pattern of thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say that. And then some person, I thought this was funny. Somebody on the thread, the Shade Room thread, was like, I think it's ironic that she's a 40-year-old virgin with the last name Orji.
So now I don't feel bad for where I think I'm about to take this conversation a bit.
Oh, hold on. We talking about orgies? Wait, what's going on?
Not just yet. That's a little too much. No, but like when we talk about the conditioning. So when I heard your question to us, Dana, it also posed like the romanticizing what it is to lose your virginity, right?
Absolutely.
So like that we're going to go and have this magical experience with somebody that just figuring out what to do with it too, right? And then it's going to just all come together and just be this beautiful like experience where the doves are released and you're like, oh my God, I love you so much, right? Like,
we all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once, and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
It's not the reality for most of us, right? But because you in your head have this first experience, it automatically comes that you want to compare it to the second experience, right? Like if you had not done this, then maybe I would have been able to enjoy this more. But if you talk to many of us, the experience is in the trash, right? Like nobody really knew. But what's interesting about this conversation, though, I think Marlene talked about this earlier, like, is that it's automatically assumed that because I've had sex before that I understand quality sex. In a society where women are taught to suppress their own desires and sacrifice their bodies for other people. When
and
the numbers say
women have never had orgasms.
51%. Like, so
right, y'all talking there now.
It's trash, right? So like the thought that like to Uncle Shannon, he ain't really my uncle, he probably my brother, but to my brother Shannon's point, right? You can go out here and you can get a whole center, but that doesn't mean that they know quality, and that doesn't mean that the sex is going to be superior. So that whole thing where people keep saying like, oh, I want someone who has had experience. The experience could have all been trash for 30 and 40 years. So that link between quality and quantity is like insane to me.
I think for men though, them having a center and us having a center is a very big difference, because women kind of do know a lot more in the bedroom other than men. Men,
do they vocalize it? Sorry, not to cut you off, Makini, but do they vocalize it?
Some don't, but I myself like to, and I'm speaking for Makini and Makini only, I myself will tell you, get up off me. I myself will tell you, no, that is incorrect. But a lot, it's because, so the reason I say that, men typically are only self-serving in the bedroom, and that's just what it comes down to. They be thinking about themselves and themselves only. So I think that Uncle, when he was like, I want a sinner, it's like, because he knows that there are some women out here that know exactly what they're doing. And that's who he's looking for. And more power to you, because I'm one of those girls. And it just is what it is. And I'll toot mine. I make sure because like I told y'all earlier, ain't no marriage without testing it out. And that's just what it is. Because men are so self-serving, I've had to learn what I like. And if you need direction, right there to the left, to the right, up, lift it up just a little, right, just right there. Stop. Like, I will give you that. I don't know. I just think that I agree with what you're saying, Mel, for sure. Because, like I said, men are very much so self-serving in the bedroom. Like, quality, and that's why I'm scared for my good sis Yvonne. Is because you might marry this man, and because he's built like a stallion, that could mean nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then you're absolutely just disappointed for the rest of your life. Because what you gonna do? Divorce the man? Like, that's why you don't put yourself.
But she ain't gonna know she disappointed because she don't have nothing to compare.
Exactly. She has nothing else to compare it to. Yeah. So she's going to think, and then all of his exes are going to be kiki at her wedding because they knew what she was getting. They're gonna be kiki because they're like, she's gonna think that this is the best in the world because she's had nothing else. And her and the penis.
You may not though, because early on I had some things, and it was just like it didn't do what it was supposed to. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you don't have the inflated version. You notice that I could have had a V8 with that. You know what I mean? But she about to be in her 40s, and your 40s is your prime. And normally,
but she don't
40s,
but she don't know.
She don't even know.
She don't even know. So she's gonna be in her prime, not knowing nothing.
That's why I was saying.
And then they talking about, the floodgates gonna fly open and the well is going to dry up fast because she's in her 40s.
And that's what I was saying. Like if you 20s, 30s, early 40s, you want to add a little KY, you want to add a little toy for a little razzle dazzle. That's one thing. But when you a certain age, it's required. Like you can't. You gonna have a hard time doing the thing without it. And we've been speaking a lot about it when it comes to physically. I just want to touch on mentally because, like, I feel like with people, and I know, like, when I was a virgin, the conditioning, I hold this thing, this abstract thing in such high self-esteem that the person that I give it to, I'm gonna hold in this high esteem as well. So my concern with Yvonne, and I don't know her. If you see this, Yvonne, sorry sis, I'm not dogging you or anything. Is that the person she holds in connection with this virginity in such high esteem that they might not have that same esteem or value for the virginity, and that's why a lot of men are like, I want a sinner. I don't want to be that because. That's when they say, like virgins get clingy because I shared this experience. I gave myself to you. Yeah. How could you da-da-da-da-da? And sometimes relationships just don't work out.
Yeah.
So it ain't that he dog walked you. It ain't that he abused you. It ain't that just that y'all, for whatever reason, weren't compatible or he thought another girl was cuter or whatever. Y'all just don't work out. But now here you are holding on to this thing because I did this thing with you for the first time ever at 40.
At 40, this big
at
age.
40, girl.
What's she gonna do when she find out that the size do matter?
Period.
And on top of that, what if when we talking about thought processes, with her having a lack of experience and knowledge, she was to say that she would be pleased or he would be pleased, and that could create an insecurity that runs deep with her second guessing, like, oh my God, he's looking at other women, or he's had previous partners to compare me to. What if I'm not throwing it back like the lady that his ex, or, you know, stuff like that? What if I'm not going to that extreme, you know, that he wants? I'm not pleasing him.
Or
I always wonder
about childbearing. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's 39. After 35, you're at risk.
Right.
Like, do you want to have kids? Yeah, God could do it. Sarah was 80 or 90, but it's 2020, whatever it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you're dealing with a lot of men with ED, erectile dysfunction. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of drinking, a lot of drugs, a lot of different things. A lot of these men, it ain't working. You know what I'm saying? It's not giving
not like it should.
So even though she may be eager and ready and the floodgates, if he near her age or older, his libido is going down faster than ours.
Right.
Men's libidos go sooner and quicker, like this.
She might get a young man. She might get somebody in their 20s. She might be
she
might be a cougar, okay? You just never know.
As conditioned as she already is.
I will say, I want us to stop calling it the floodgate, because it's really just a dam and a little water gonna trickle. That's it, and that's all.
Maybe it's a puddle. It's a puddle at this
Don't
point.
do that. You don't know her. You do not know her situation.
I do know that she missed her prime Juicy Lucy.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say this. I don't know how old the rest of y'all are, but like,
right? I'm like, hold
I
up.
thought my prime was when I was younger.
It's not. It's older.
Hello.
I'm 33. I'm 33, and I'll be 34 soon.
I'm 40.
I'm a little older.
I'm 45.
And I did think back in my 20s, I was hot shit.
40 gonna give it to you, girl.
Until now,
gonna give it to you.
When I hit that 30s, when I was about 31, I was like, wait a minute. And the response I was getting from my man at the time was, well, wait a minute. And I'm like, yeah, because it was like the light switched on overnight. Like, I turned 30 and it was like, oh, you learned something new. What is that?
30-year-old confidence, and then that 40-year-old like other thing that kicks in, that biology not being able, like really being able to say what you want, how you want it, and then it all goes in alignment with your biology. It's
I need me some of that, baby.
But I feel like that's a culmination of experiences, of wisdom, of coming into yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you don't, not that sex is the totality of life, but I'm thinking like, I know what you mean about the 40s. I'm 42 and it's lit. I love it here. It's giving. It literally gives. It gives every day. But I'm saying like her being 40 and, you know, she doesn't have that culminating moment of like seasoning the gumbo when all the experience starts to simmer together and
that good pot.
You start to take out the trash, but then you savor and then you put it together and unlock a couple things.
She ain't gonna save them shrimp shells.
Good pot.
She ain't gonna save them shrimp shells. She don't know. She don't know that the flavors in the shell, honey.
She may not know the flavors, right? But if she gets what she says that she wants, which is a very strong emotional connection from the beginning and a high level of intimacy, some things kind of fall. Now, when your intimacy ain't really there, you don't really like this dude that much. You know what I mean? Like, he need to bring everything he can possibly bring to the table. But when you are like, that intimacy is at a like top tier, like he just touched you and you just like, oh, thank you.
Very true. Very true. Because when you in love, a pinky will do the trick.
Oh my God.
So you are with that intimacy, because when you
never been that and I thought I'd been in love a few times, married and all.
Baby, we going after dark now.
We've been really deep and I feel like respectful about this, but I want to be a little bit messy.
Go ahead, okay.
So
I've been waiting.
Yvonne was dating Emmanuel Ocho. He's a sportscaster. Emmanuel Ocho, he's a sportscaster for a long time. That man fine. And then they broke up. And I've always wondered if it was because
Hold on, I need to go see what this man looked like.
Okay,
that's a good looking man. They both like
the linebacker.
Yeah, they
hold
both
on. Let me
carry
present this to
laugh.
the people.
Yeah,
the people need to see this man. Hold
Yes,
on.
please share this beautiful piece of chocolate.
I'm sorry for that, man. Is this him?
Yep, that's him. That's him.
I know why they broke up.
See, I didn't want to say it, but
let me tell you
that one right there. That's the picture right there.
How long did he play for the Eagles? That's the one.
I feel like they were together for like a couple years.
I know why they broke up.
That's what I'm saying. She something.
Something. She doing something.
It's giving.
Let me
I
get
don't
this
know,
man
because he
off
don't look
here.
like he require much either, though. Like,
I don't know.
He's cute, but he giving wholesome a little bit too.
I don't think he did.
Nigerian.
I feel like
with his shirt off, he was giving me a little wholesome.
I don't think
I feel like he's still leaving here with something. He like I'm
leaving here with something.
I don't feel like they did anything.
What that mouth do?
I do feel like he had options, plenty. So he didn't need for her to do anything. He was like, "Oh, I got my wholesome girlfriend at home.
Okay,
and I know she's not giving it to anybody. And then I got these girls knocking on my hotel room door, like, hey, Mr. Ocho, Emmanuel, can I have your autograph?" Like stuff like that. So he has options. That man is fine. And
Excuse me, Mr. Ocho, I do not own the rights to your photograph. I just want to kind of put that out there. You was on the internet, and I just put it up there. All right, carry on.
Don't swear.
And so you know where my comment came from is because one time, right, I found God in my 20s, and I was like, God, I'm trying to do right and to be right, and I wanted to, keep away all the distractions, so I didn't want to have sex anymore, right? I felt bad when I was doing what I was doing on Saturday and waking up on Sunday, and I started reaching out to people, and I started asking, like, how do you do it? Right? Like all of the people who had been proclaiming that they were saving it or they were waiting or they were celibate. And I'm like, so all y'all giving oral, but ain't nobody so penetration is off limits. I'd rather do the other. Like, give me the
Wait, I didn't know that. I didn't know that people were just doing oral.
No, it's
all off limits. Girl, what you talking about?
I will say it's all off limits if that's where you at in your journey. Now, I will say I've had that moment with God a lot of times. Lord,
God, I ain't gonna do this no more.
I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to be a sinner. I just want you to cleanse me, creating me a clean heart.
Bring me a new.
And then it happened again.
But
listen, the Catholics be over here like anal is not sex,
and they're lying.
So
you're a liar.
They be like, well, as long as it wasn't vaginal, then it didn't happen, and be tearing up them booty holes. And the Mormons too.
I did not know that either.
Mm-hmm.
Not tearing up the booty hole.
No, but Mel, I think that's wild that people I don't know anybody that's been like, oh, I'm celibate, but I still give oral or nothing like that, because I'm gonna laugh at you in your face.
Because they're not going to divulge that information.
And they don't.
But
I'd be like, what did you celebrate?
I think that's more like younger people who are, I don't know that that's older people saying like, I'm still a virgin even though I'm giving head. You know what I'm saying? I don't think, but maybe I could be lying.
So over 30. I've had a few over 30.
Over
30? Yeah,
for
over
me,
30.
I'm celibate, and if you ask me when the last time I had sex, I'm gonna say May. It's only been a couple months. I may fall short again. I have to start over. But that's between me and the Lord.
And I fell short of the glory of God, but I'm back again.
Like I said, I've had that conversation. So I have a very great relationship with God. Very great. Like, I know that I wouldn't be the person that I am today. And it really goes back to what Toya was saying. You can be like, oh, I'm a virgin, but your spirit dirty and you a dirty person. You don't live right. So what does that mean? Because literally I give God the glory every single day. I do right by people because I believe that that's the way that you should live. And I live wholeheartedly with the spirit of love running through me. But I also like sex. And that is my cross to carry to the Lord. That's my burden to bear. Nobody else's.
I mean,
but I know when God looks at me and he says, you know what? She might be a little freak. But
not God saying you.
I know that my child loves like I intend for her to love. I know that she walks this earth like I intend for her to, how I care for other people. So that's where, when Toya was saying that earlier, I really felt that, because I'm like, some people do hold that to a higher standard. Like, well, I didn't do this, but baby, but you also cursed your daughter from here to next week and told her she was never going to be nothing and X, Y, and Z. That is not operating out of love, and God is love. So at the end of the day, you can say whatever you want to say. For me, all sins are created equal. And so I don't live in a glass house because I know my glass is thin. A little pebble could shatter that thing.
Not your glass.
Listen, there's a lot of ways to be on your knees and still be righteous.
Hello? Do you hear me? Period.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
I do understand, because, like I said, I've been there a lot of times. And we're always like, God, I don't want to do this no more. Save me from myself.
We throw it back and we get up.
We throw it back.
We get up.
So we're getting ready to wrap this up. I want to kind of like end it on this last little question here. This has been freaking amazing, okay? Because I just love all the dynamics here. Like, it was a whole lot of everything, and I love the diversity, right? We believe in DE&I over here. Soul ties. Look, Cristal gave me that look. Soul ties. Okay. This is a thing within itself. Especially for my good sis Yvonne. I don't know how that's gonna work going forward, because I think they're gonna bring forth a lot of spirits that she ain't know about. But what are your thoughts on soul ties? Have you ever dealt with one, or do you even know what that is?
I think soul ties are bullshit, because it's only ever positioned to women. It's only ever you have sex with this man, you're tied to this man forever. They never tell a man, you have sex with this woman, you are tied to this woman forever. And even that study that was going around Facebook that was like, when people have sex, the man leaves his DNA in the woman. Well, if that's the case, during sex, a woman envelops a man, so he would be covered by her DNA, right? So I think it's hogwash. I think it's just another way to just oppress women, keep them tied, and that's how you have Nelly and Ashanti spinning the block, even though
everybody's spinning the block.
Yeah, everybody's spinning the block with their exes that cheated because we got soul ties.
I don't think that's doing soul ties. I think they just tired of everybody else, so they like, you know what, I'm gonna go what I like the most.
And so I'm gonna go back to the bad I know, because the bad I don't know, I'm gonna just go back to the bad I know.
To the bad I like the most, because
right.
I'm getting it with everybody else, and this is the person that I had the most fun with. This is the person that I love the most. This is the person that understands me the most, and I'm gonna get bad with whoever I'm with. It does not matter. It's not always going to be good. So do I want to continue to try to search for the greatest good in the next man, or do I just, you know what, Nelly?
So
you did me bad. But I
learned the difference between like feeling like someone is your soulmate and then having a soul tie, right? So if you would have asked me 20 something years ago if I thought it was bullshit, I probably would have said the same thing until I had my own experience. But I will preface it with this. For me, sex is also very spiritual, right? Mm-hmm. So normally I don't lay with a man that I don't have a spiritual connection with. Now I've been off the market for a while, but even that's always been my thing, even when I was out there, right? Is having that spiritual connection. And so I remember going to church one time and the pastor was talking about it, and he was like, sometimes it's a state of confusion, sometimes that you don't know why you're acting one way. One day you're acting this way, next day you're acting like this, da da da. So during that period of time where I told you I was trying to get my life together and having like those kind of conversations, I also prayed to release my soul ties and went through a whole kind of like cleansing experience. And it allowed me to get better in tune with myself and my own emotions. And when I say it allowed me to do it, I'm not talking about I did this over a 90-day or 9 months, 9-year period. Like when I prayed it, it was almost instantaneously where I was released from it. But again, if you would have told me this, I'd be like, I don't know. But because of my own experience. But again, prefacing it with sex is also very spiritual for me to begin with.
Right. I agree with Mel. I'm not gonna lie. I went through a similar situation more recently, and I met somebody in a whole other city. I was thinking about moving to the city, and I met a man. And on the first night of us meeting, when I say we talked about our lives, but really our love for God and how God has really brought us through some of the toughest times in our lives for hours. The first night we met, literally. And then we had sex. And it was some of the greatest.
I'm sorry, I don't want to laugh.
They were celebrating.
Right? It was a strong connection. She took her home. You act like she was doing it to Kirk Franklin.
That type of sex.
But then
almost flatline just now.
Our soul ties only sexual.
There was crawfish in between. There was crawfish in between the conversation and the sex. So it wasn't like.
But our soul ties only sexual?
No.
Then couldn't you have a soul tie with anybody?
No. Yeah. I'm basing mine off of what Mel just said. Ours definitely came from a spiritual aspect first.
That's a spiritual tie.
And then no. Then when we laid in bed and we experienced the love that we experienced between the two of us, I will say, and it wasn't just one-sided. It's not just me, because literally, we dated for 2 years. Me coming to the city, and it got really toxic because I can be somewhat of an aggressive girl, and I am very protective over my man. And you live in this city, and all of these people know you because he's well known in his city. And all of these girls, it's just like, Mike. And when I'm in town, it's like you don't see me every day. So even though we outside, you should be Heisman and all these girls. Like, no. And so that was the case. I can get aggressive, especially if there's some liquor in the situation. Like, what's your problem? And so there's been many toxic times between us where we was like, we need to be done.
That doesn't sound like soul tie to me. That just sounds like.
No. He'll call me soul ties. So,
but here,
it's a relationship.
Hold on. I need a minute.
It's a relationship at the end of the day, and the relationship was partly because of everything that we discussed and talked about when we were getting to know each other, but specifically when we laid down in bed with each other and we decided to have sex with each other. It literally was like we literally tied our spirits together, and it was super hard to break. It got to a point where I was like, Lord, I had to talk to God and say, Lord, please remove this man from me. Please remove this soul tie, because I just knew we was going to be together forever, and I love this man, and he loved me too. And I know that he probably had to do the same thing, because I could be like, oh, I'm coming to town, and I'm not messing with you at all because I got other people out here. And you beat down my line. You finding me. Like, you like, oh no. Like, I know she gonna be at our spot. Like, cause we frequent the same spots when I'm in town. I know she gonna be there. What's up? How you doing? And then it's easy. We just melt back into each other. Because of that soul tie, I don't think it had anything to do with probably our toxicity too. But I'm just saying, we've all been in some toxic shit before.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm not saying it was a good soul tie. It was definitely a toxic soul tie, but it was a soul tie nonetheless.
But I think we throw terms around and we really don't know what they mean. And we just regurgitate stuff. Soul tie without any type of awareness of what we're actually saying. So when you talk about the spirit and the soul are not synonymous, people use it synonymous, but we are spirits. We possess a soul, which is our mind, our will, and our emotions. That's where your mind, will, and emotions are housed in your soul, which means it's more of a mental thing. It's more of the time you spend meditating, thinking about, rehearsing, imagining that builds a connection more than it actually is the physical act of having sex. You can have a soul tie with an idea. You can have a soul tie with a business. You can have a soul tie with a business partner. You can have a soul tie with a friendship. You can have a soul. It's not just, we just say it's a sexual thing. But the soul is about your mental. It's about the stories that you rehearse over and over and over. And when you tell yourself a story in your mind over and over and over, it creates a belief. And when you create that belief, it creates a connection. But it's not limited to sexual intercourse. Yes, it happens in sex, but it's about the stories we tell connected to that person, not just the act itself. And so it's like, oh, I had sex, I have a soul tie. Not necessarily, not if there isn't a story associated with that experience. So when you associate a storyline with an experience, you create a bond and you create the tie from the rehearsing of the storyline. That's what's housed in your soul. That's what the connection is. But it's not limited to sex. And it's not just because you had sex with somebody, you have a soul tie. That's just not, that's spiritually, even from a spiritual standpoint, incorrect because it's not supported. And then people talk about soul ties as a spiritual thing and have no evidence. Where is that? Take me to the soul tie scripture that you're standing on. You don't have a scripture. You don't have a basis for that ideology. You just heard somebody say it. You took it on and then you're just going on, I got a soul tie. But then now because you believe you have a soul tie, you've created the tie through your belief. But it's not just because I had sex, I have a tie. You believe that we have this. You started your story, just to use you as an example, not to make an example out of you, but just to use your story as an example. We had this fabulous connection and we talked for hours. That's the tie, the story you associate with.
Yeah, no, I wasn't saying the sex was because I don't have sex with people and I have no soul tie to them. Wouldn't know them if I seen them and wouldn't dare claim them. But I wasn't saying that the sex is what tied us together. I was saying that was specifically for me. So, because like I said, I've had sex with another person before, and I don't think that we tied at all.
Yeah,
I woke up in the morning and said, "I'm never doing this again. I don't have to see you ever again." So this situation was just very different because of everything that led up to that. How we even met. Just by coincidence, like everything that led up to that, to us laying down together, is really what tied me to this man. Honestly, because I had never met a man who was so open with a person he never even met before, heard of, to speak so highly about his love for God. Like that for me was like, oh my God, this man really, like, he knows him. He knows God, and I want to know more about him because of how he's speaking so highly of the God that I love so much. So that is where I wasn't saying like it came from the bedroom. I just said that definitely justified
ideology that's out there. You didn't say that, but I'm just saying a lot of people say that.
So what is it, Toya, when you have that spiritual, when I say spiritual, let me define spiritual, right? Not just a matter of, I can't break this position from this person, meaning like you have their emotions. They don't have to be anywhere near you. You physically feel what it is that they feel, right? Or you have laid down with them and then all of a sudden your mood has changed, right? That transfer of energy where you are now embodying that person.
Yeah. I think that's part of our natural power. We can do that at any moment. We just don't know that we can. We have the ability to connect to people that are not in our immediate space, to feel them, people, to communicate, what people call telepathically. We naturally have that ability. But when you're not informed about your natural ability, you start assigning all types of things to it and calling
bunch of different things. And I think soul ties are real, but I think it's the education behind what it is that we have to talk about. Like, there's a reason that it's real. It's not some mystical, I understand spiritual things, of course. And I understand spiritual connections, of course, but there's a reason why you connect to certain things. Some of it's fate or destiny. Yeah, I believe in that too. But I think also most of it is we're operating in these natural gifts that we have, but we're not equipped with the knowledge of what's happening. So we just assign meaning to it that, it may or may not be that. But I think when we know better, we do better, and we can also sift through things in our experiences differently. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, rather than like you sitting here, you could literally be feeling somebody's presence. You ain't thought about them in forever, but just because that's energy, there's no time and distance spiritually, it doesn't exist. Somebody could be thinking about you somewhere else, and you start thinking about them and you think it's your original thought, but it's them thinking about you that caused you to have a thought about them. We don't understand that. That's energy. You know what I'm saying? Because religion and conditioning have just let us throw around terms, but we don't understand what it actually means. Like, there's a system and there's ways that all this stuff works, and you can actually explain it, and you can repeat it over and over and over again and do it on both ends of the spectrum. So like, a soul tie is not necessarily always a bad thing.
We all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once, and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Sometimes your soul can be tied to people in good ways. You know what I'm saying? With good memories and in healthy ways. You know, but we've just made soul tie negative. But it's not always negative. Sometimes it's positive. But it's all the stories we tell about it without even thinking about what we're saying and where is this coming from and what does this really mean? So I'm just one of these people, like, because I was in ministry for so long and I just saw the gamut of everything, and I'm always a seeker of knowledge. Like, I want to know why. I'm not just going to take nobody's word for it on nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I think some of this indoctrination, we got to start asking questions and start being more critical thinkers and start looking for research and evidence of what we say we believe versus just taking on these beliefs and then living our lives about beliefs that's not substantiated by any valid information. It's just ideologies thrown around. Oh, somebody said soul ties. Yep, this is soul tie. What that mean?
But I also think that sometimes we get too logical, right? Where there is just a way of being that we have, right? And we get into trouble because we are trying to assign names to it, and titles and things, and you know what I mean, and evidence and all of the stuff. So I think there's a very thin line between, yes, applying logic when necessary, but then there's some things that just are never going to be explained
for sure.
Logic,
for sure.
Definitely.
I love this.
Like, for me, I just think the soul ties thing is BS because it's only talked about in relation to sex between a man and a woman.
I think so.
It's never talked about in platonic friendships. It's never talked about in that person that you had that connection with just in the grocery store for that minute. That funny thing happened, and then 3 years later, you're like, oh man, that was a stranger, but that funny thing happened in the grocery store. You thinking about it, they might be thinking about it. But it's always positioned as this thing and this warning to women. Like, when you lay down with this man, you're establishing this soul tie to this man. And it's never to the men. When you lay down with this woman, you're establishing this soul tie to this woman. And again, like I said, it's never talked about in other various forms of in other forms of various relationships we have.
I love it. Y'all, this has been a real good. I feel like I done held y'all hostage, like Prison Break or something. Like it's real.
Nah, it was a good time. It was a good time.
I mean,
It was good.
I needed this more than y'all know. I needed a distraction. I needed something else to talk about. This was really, really good conversation to have. So I'm gonna end it on this. I need everybody 1 minute or less. Look, 1 minute or less. Go around and tell me what your biggest takeaway from this conversation was. I'm starting to feel like I need a like what they doing over there on the is that the Breakfast Club? I feel like I need a co-host like every other episode or something, like just somebody to just talk to. Because I love these type of conversations. I love to bounce off of other people. So this was amaze balls. So definitely let's hear it. What was your biggest takeaway? I'm gonna start with Jahtier and move it around.
It was a lot to take away from this. I guess to wrap everything up in one. So ties, my personal opinion, that are true. Focus on being a great person and nurturing good people and good decision makers so that the kids and generation under ourselves can learn from our mistakes and potential mistakes we made and become better individuals.
I love that. Thank you, Jahtier. You've been amazing. Thank you. Let's move it around. Y'all just popcorn it. You know, I ain't gotta.
Thank you, Dana, for this conversation. I think it was amazing. I didn't feel like you held us hostage, or me. I'll speak for myself. I didn't feel like a hostage. I enjoyed it very much. I think my biggest takeaway is we're more alike than we're different. You know what I'm saying? And that all of us are still trying to figure it out, you know, and that I just appreciate every single perspective here. You know, that it was all just different enough to add some color to the landscape and to take away. I wish you gave me a minute. I don't know if I had time to go to every person and what I took away from them, but I want to. Maybe I'll put it in the chat because I feel like I just want everybody to know we all have something so special to offer, something so special to give. This was so beautiful. Women sharing, nobody's weird. It wasn't any weird vibes or energy. And I think that alone is so beautiful. And the fact that we could talk about a trending current topic, but then bring it to some type of groundedness without just talking around it and, so I don't know if that answered your question. I have so much more to say. I'm going to put it in the chat and tell you what I learned from each person. That's what I'm going to do.
Go ahead, put it in the chat and I'll read it. Okay.
Period.
Yeah, we'll do that. So we can talk about the biggest in the room. Makini.
I took away a lot. My 30s are lit, but my 40s will be okay. Yeah. But now, on a serious note, like that, I clearly wasn't the only person who wasn't able to have the tough conversation growing up, and I've been working towards being that person that my nieces, because I don't have any children, can come to. And just when I do have children, to make sure that I open up that door to my daughter, like that she knows that, one, I'm not here to judge, I'm here to listen, but two, I'm also here to help you navigate those feelings and what you're feeling.
I love that.
I just read Toya's comment. Thank you.
Oh God, Lord, let me go ahead because the people out there in the world that can't see nothing back here, they probably want to hear this. So in between each person's comments, I'm gonna go back.
But yeah, now this said, there is a lot placed on virginity and what that is, and I think that we as women and everybody on this podcast going forward should try to move away from the norm or the construct that is what people have said virginity is. So, just going forward, trying to just really push my younger women to know who they are, be self-aware, know their worth, and know that their worth isn't just in between their legs.
Ow, that's good. That was over a minute, but I'm gonna let you live. Let me get these comments out real quick because I'm sure that the people want to know what Toya had to say, because maybe it's relatable, right? Maybe people are driving in their cars, they're sitting, reading, listening, whatever method you're listening to this podcast on, and you like, damn, she said da 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 da, and I can relate. So Toya said, Makini, a freak that loves the Lord. I love it. I respect her. Yo, hold on. Now, real quick, because I was trying to be as quiet as I could throughout this process. But child, I was over here. I spilt the water all over the floor. I done choked about 3-4 times listening to McKinney's story. I'm like, wait, did she go from on her knees praying with this man to on her knees in the bed? Like, what is going on? Like the story.
I'm praying, but
and there was crawfish in between. So
right.
Don't forget.
I was crying, like literally, but the story was good because it definitely tied in to exactly what I was asking. Toya also said that she respects your freedom, liberty, and self-awareness. I love it.
Thank you.
Toya said, Cristal, with the I. I think you stole my notes. LOL. I agree with it all. I love your confidence in your thoughts. It's beautiful. Yes, I love it. So shifting on over to Marlene, what was your takeaway? Even though I know you was over there absorbing, because we ain't really hear from Marlene as much. Marlene be talking. I don't know why Marlene be playing. Okay. Mm-hmm. So Marlene, tell me what your takeaways was, because I know that you absorbed a little something.
So I took away a lot. Pretty much everyone gave me clarity. That's what it was, clarity. For most don't know that I'm a lesbian. So it's been a while since I've been with a man and in a relationship with a man. So like just hearing everybody's perspective coming from a man, it just took me back to, okay, that's the things I did wrong, or those are some things I need to change in my life right now. It also gave me confirmation that I'm doing the right thing with my nonprofit for young girls, because every last one of you women spoke something that our young girls need to hear, which I do with the young babies. And no matter what lifestyle you live and where you come from, everybody had a different story, and everyone had the vision that I always talk to these young girls about. So I just took away, like, I ain't been with a man in a long time, over 15, 20 years, but I got what you all were saying, and I tried to apply it to my life. That's probably why I was quiet, because I try to walk into a room being myself, and some people are kind of like leery on the same gender loving community. So I was just trying to listen and trying to relate more, because it's been a while since I've been with a man, but women ain't no different. So I really took a lot away, and it just gave me affirmation that I'm on the right page and I'm doing the right thing for what the God has called me to do, regardless of my lifestyle. God still has called me to do a lot of things. And with the young girls, like I said, everything that you guys spoke about is what I speak to them with my nonprofit organization. So I think it was just clarity for me.
I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you. I'm going to tell you why I'm mad at you. And I'm going to tell all the people. So for everybody that's listening to the ReCrown You podcast right now, on whatever day this is that you're listening to it on, I'm mad at Marlene. And I'm mad at Marlene because that perspective would have been really, really good to dive a little bit deeper in. Baby, I love them all, baby. I love them all. And I will respect y'all pronouns too, or whatever it is. I am that person. Okay. So I would have loved to dive in, but that's okay, because I'm gonna just take you back again. That's and we're gonna run this back on another next episode. On another episode. Part 2. Exactly. Because part 2 is going to be lit, because I'll be, insane mind, insane body that day. But I need more of that. And I think there are people that can truly relate to that information. And even if you're somebody that hasn't been with a man in teen years or whatever you have at one point because you had a kid, or you got somebody that probably never been with a man at all, right? Like there's 2 different perspectives, and I know them all. So that's going to be a really good conversation. I'm going to put out a post for that. Thank you, Marlene.
Right.
Marlene, Toya said, Marlene, California love. I love the fact that you own your agency. And even at 19, you knew what you wanted, made your own choices, and are able to live with your decisions. Not many of us can say that. That's good. At Mel, look, I'm saying this like I'm reading Instagram.
Right.
At Mel, thank you for affirming me in the way you spoke about aging. It gave me hope for my future and that the best is yet to come. Also, thank you for speaking on soul ties. That was a vital point in this conversation. I love the fact that there was all the different perspectives, and it's always interesting to me whenever, and this has nothing to do with y'all ages or nothing, but I realize that I attract or are around a lot of women that are older than me, which kind of probably ties back to why a lot of people say I feel older to them than I am, because I take a lot of wisdom from a lot of people. I'm only about to be 35 in December, right?
Oh,
So
you
it's
are?
like,
I just turned 34.
Look at you. Well, you got happy just now. You thought you had a friend. Like, no. But it's interesting to me because, and I love the fact that I'm around so many, like this diverse group of women, right? And being in the arenas that I'm in, I'm always finding myself either mentoring the younger or being mentored by the older or befriending those that are above me, which gives me a lot of different perspectives, right? So I just want to kind of touch on that last one. Jahtier, I love your freedom. I love how you have developed your own journey and you in your own way. Your smile is contagious. Oh, love it.
Thank you.
Takeaway. Who am I missing? Popcorn it.
Mel?
Did we get both people?
Takeaway. So I have an 11-year-old daughter. So I think the biggest takeaway too is affirming the whole process with her of like being clear on her own decisions and her thoughts and how to sort out what's truly her beliefs and what she wants to be and how she wants to build her own personal character and what that looks like, a character that she can stand behind. I think that's the first thing. The second one is the language, right? Because even like when Toya was talking about language and what that really means to different people, and still processing it, because I do feel like a lot of times we run from language, but then I feel like we also get really caught up though sometimes in logic. I have a logic circuit, right? So I have learned over the last couple of years to just do more being, right? And in describing more of the feeling and the thing versus getting caught up in whatever that label is. That makes any sense. And I just love I love having diverse conversations where people have a safe space to voice their opinions and their thoughts and their ideas, and then what that energy is when we have that space, right? So appreciate spending this time with you ladies.
Yeah, I love that. And that's kind of the reason why I loved when people got on there. It was like, I don't agree with you or whatever it is. I'm like, oh, okay, bet. let's talk about this, right? Because this is going to be good. Cristal.
Oh, my takeaway was don't be afraid to ask why.
We all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once, and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
That ladies, we have agencies over ourselves. So stand on business in that. If you want some dick, get you some dick.
Period.
And Yvonne, take us out the group chat.
Say it again for the Christians in the back.
If you want some dick, take us out the dick. Get you some dick. And Yvonne, please, just take me out the group chat. If you can leave, if the rest of the ladies want to be in it, fine. But stop telling me. Stop telling me that you ain't had none. Because I don't know how to help you.
What you say? Just go ahead and go get it.
Go get it, girl. I don't know.
Oh my Lord!
I don't know how to help you, Yvonne, because if it's because barring assault and barring a bad person, baby, it's fun. It's fun. Go get you some.
You got me over here looking like that damn melting emoji, bro.
Right.
I'm just saying.
There's a few group chats I would like to be taken out of. That is one. That might be one. I know Krishan and Blueface is another.
Baby,
that. Will and Jada is another.
No,
cancel my service.
See, I want to be in the Will and Jada one. I want to be in the one because it's a lot of money and it's a lot of mess. So I want to stay in that one.
It's been messy. Jada just started talking about it, but it's been.
The Lori Harvey group chat. Take me out of that one.
No, keep me in.
No,
I'm taking
Lori Harvey don't be having us in the group chat. You gotta take us in Lori group chat.
Exactly, that be
group chat.
The Lori Harvey group chat.
Lori don't say a word.
That ain't invited to the real
party. You don't even know what Lori Harvey's voice sounds like. Lori Harvey don't even
very
talk.
much given NDA.
So listen,
even talk. Everybody else be talking that chat. Like,
but if they gonna take us out the Lori Harvey one or put us in it, they need to make one for Common because Common is just old Lori Harvey.
I want to be out of all the relationship group chats. I feel like this is just gone and just permanently filter me out of all of the relationship.
It's giving another episode because
why Common can't keep a woman? Why Common always out here laying it low and spreading it wide and don't nobody say nothing about Common?
And he running through all the good black ones, just like that Lori running through all the good black men. Now,
definitely outside.
Camiano.
Oh, he should know better.
Common definitely be outside. There's a couple of them that be outside though.
But man,
we got all the smoke for Nick Cannon, baby mamas, but we ain't got none of the smoke for Nick Cannon making 17 children in a year.
But Mel, I do agree. I made a status the other day that said middle class and low class folks need to stay out of rich people business because Lord, listen, y'all mind these good, rich, wealthy people business. And it really had to do with Will and Jada because they both have been telling their story. Will is just more subtle with it. He put it in his book and he didn't speak much about it. But Jada did the same thing. She's just loud with it. She just loud.
Here's the thing.
To quote the 40-year version, Will kept his bitches on a leash. Also, Jada wasn't loud. That was August. We didn't know nothing till August piped up.
Okay, I'll give you that. But then it was like once he opened the door, she just couldn't shut up.
They wouldn't leave her alone.
Did any of y'all see the interview with his first wife? When his first wife said that she had to make him get a divorce
at the red table.
She talks about this all the time when she shares a story that she no longer wanted to be in the marriage. And
Will is a terrorist.
And Will
said he kept cheating on Jada until she agreed to an open marriage.
Yeah, he doesn't do divorce.
I believe it. That's why I don't think Jada ever has been really the issue. It's just Jada is talking, so everybody wants to pinpoint Jada. But I'm like, y'all in these rich people business, and Will been doing him too. Like, that's why we should just mind ours, because I'm trying to mind their business, but meanwhile over here I'm living in this one bedroom.
See, that's why I'm trying to mind their business, because I don't want to think about mine. Mine be bringing me down sometimes.
I need to mind mine so I can get to where they are. That's just
I like to judge. I ain't gonna lie about it. I like to judge. I like to be like, "Oh, you messy."
Oh no, I want people. I'm trying to be the person who business they talking about, because at the end of the day, I'm never gonna care. And I just want y'all to have y'all opinion. But it baffles me how broke people can be in rich people business all the time.
I'm a Jada stan, BTW. I stand.
Listen, I love Jada. I have nothing against her. Tell your story, sis. Yell it to the rafters. Tell them what that man did to you because he did something.
So I think it's like we always think like you're married to Will Smith. What could you possibly complain about? Like,
exactly.
We treat women like that. Like, so if she's saying I'm not happy or our marriage was over, she's just telling her story. But we feel like Will Smith is this icon. Who is she? But it's like she was her before she met him. That's why he married her.
Very much her.
She was very much her. You know what I mean?
Girl.
It's like, I hate that they be trying to keep women from telling their story so as not shame the man or to protect his ego. And it's like, she just telling her side of the story, what she did.
Literally be like, what you mean you wanted to leave because he smacked you down the stairs? Did you hear the last part you said?
Right.
You hear the last part that you said. Like, what you mean you wanted to leave because he slept with 20 other women? Did you hear?
Right.
Because even in their red table talk, Will says, I was done with you. We were done. And people were like, Jada cheated.
Right.
Right over it.
I was done with you. We were done. Jada cheated. Will was crying. She took advantage of all this.
Right. Where even Beyonce, when she told her story, Lemonade, everybody's like not believing it until Jay-Z dropped 444. Oh, he really did. Yeah, you thought she made that. You thought.
Everybody, you should have known.
Hold on now. This a whole nother episode.
Y'all done took off.
You said you was gonna rap 40 minutes ago.
Right, y'all done took off. Y'all took off.
So good though. The vibe is so good.
I'm saying the vibe is good. I'm feeling like we're gonna have to run this little group back. Because y'all definitely gave me a little vibe here, and y'all just already came up with the next topic, right? Validating women, okay?
Like, also, I need you to do the conversation. I don't know if you saw the post. It wasn't the Shade Room that posted. It was like Poetic Style, maybe. But they posted this girl. She was, you know how people stop people on the street and just be asking them random questions. This guy asked this girl, if your man proposed with a $50 ring, would you say yes? And so my little comment, it didn't do numbers like yours. They got like 800 likes, but
don't do that.
It got like 800, but people was liking it because I was like, my mom and dad got married with a $25 ring, and they've been married for 42 years, together for 44. And some girl on there was like, "Oh, she's a pick me. Y'all be so thirsty for the ring. No, you're so thirsty for the money, and that's why you're still single. You're missing the point that ring means nothing." So I think we should have a conversation about that. Not that the ring means nothing, but the price of that thing.
Has
nothing to do.
A whole other conversation.
That's how the man values his commitment to you. And I said, it's women with 10 carats on their finger getting cheated on daily. So if that's the case, I'm confused. So I think that should be a topic as well, because
baby, I don't know nothing about what my engagement ring costs. People used to try to, did you get it appraised? I'm not that person. I'm not that girl.
Right. I literally told my husband, when you get me, like, because he was like, what do you want out of a ring? And I was like, the one that you don't have to pay for after we get married.
That part.
And we still able to buy a house. Like, that was like the criteria. We still need to be able to go put this down payment on this house. And I don't want you paying for it after we marry. So whatever that is.
That's it. And I'm the person that had two different rings. I have an engagement ring, then I had a wedding ring. They're two different things. I don't want to know.
I'm trying to appraisal the love, not the ring, sweetie.
Like y'all, the ring be tripping about the wrong stuff.
Yeah, they really do. They really do.
When it come down, you ain't thinking about a ring. When I got divorced, I ain't care about it. Take it all, everything. I don't want nothing, not a thing, not a crumb, not a towel, not a fork, not a spoon. I just want to be done, and I want to be gone, and none of it at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not sustained. That's not what sustains a relationship.
Right.
Damn sure it don't matter when the marriage is marrying.
Okay. That's right.
And that just screams shark to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or blood in the water, not necessarily shark. When I hear people lay down all of it and they be like, yo, I should be able to say my preferences and all that other thing. I'm like, you must haven't really met some of these real good sharks in this water. Because, like, baby, you're bleeding out, and the only man that's really going to respond to that in that way is a shark. It's a shark.
Well, I'm on my Whoopi Goldberg. I don't want nobody in my house, so ain't no ring price.
We are rapping on Whoopi. We are rapping on Whoopi.
Right, that's what
y'all gonna go all night.
This was so freaking good. Please let everybody know how to get in touch with you. I'm looking for look, I'm over here trying to fix my look. I'm looking for a what do you call that? I guess we'll call it a temporary. Nah, we're not gonna call it temporary. Rotating host. Okay, because I need this energy on every month.
Well, you know it's what I do. You know it's what I do.
That's what I'm saying. Like I need this. This is what the ReCrown You podcast been missing, and everybody love me, but I feel like this gives me it gives me the energy I need to like really live full out in who I is. And who I am. I said who I is on purpose for that dude in the comment section. Under my comment on Shade Room that told me that I was ghetto. Y'all go ahead. Y'all
it's
go
the
find that.
Shade Room. The Shade Room itself is the ghetto.
That's what I'm saying. I said, oh, I'm sorry. Was I supposed to have like an intellectual conversation with the likes of you?
The Shade Room is having you wanting to respond your mama.
Listen, the Shade Room is the ghetto during the crack epidemic. So
listen, why they playing with me? I said I had to go back in my bedroom and deliver myself from Jersey because Jersey was coming back.
Right.
And she was coming back hard. Like,
your mother.
I was about to say.
That's my response.
I'm done.
If they tell me that she passed away, I apologize. But still, in that moment, your mother. I don't care.
You old gorilla back and
forth with
everybody, just go ahead and real quick, where can people find you? Toya, let's go.
I'm on Facebook, Toya Exnicious. It's hard to spell, but whatever. It's not hard to spell. It's actually pronounced exactly how it's spelled, but you wouldn't know. And on Instagram at TOYAEX, and on TikTok, I have no idea what my name is on TikTok. Toya X too, if I had to guess. I do be on there a little bit. And that's it. Yeah. Also, Hip Hop Cathedral on Instagram. Hip Hop Cathedral. You can follow that. We lit. We got some dope stuff coming up. So yeah.
I love it. Makini, where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook, but don't. That's for family and friends.
You can find me on Facebook, but don't.
You can also find me on Instagram, Kissed, so KISSED by KINNY, Kimmy. And that's also my TikTok as well. If you come to the page, there's not going to be a lot of posts. Did a cleanse. And if you don't want to see me working out, don't come. That's just what it comes down to.
Marlene. Every time she talk, I just be like, bro, I'm about to
die. People can find me on Facebook at Marlene Nicole Roberson, NICOL, and on Instagram on Slay Your Way Girls with the S, Slay_Way, Slay_Your Way Girls on Instagram.
Can y'all also type it in the chat? I'm like pulling it up now, but if y'all I don't know if everybody has access to the chat, but I'm trying to.
Y'all can find me on Facebook. I'm talking about the other people that's gonna see
this. Yeah, we're definitely posting this on all podcast platforms. So,
okay, here we go. Thank you,
Jahtier.
So on Facebook, my last name first, Milford, first name last, Jahtier. And on Instagram as Sincerely Ja.
Awesome. Thank you. Cristal.
I'm Cristal Bubblin, Cristal, like the champagne, CRISTAL, Bubblin, no G, even though I am one. Anyway, Cristal Bubblin on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I talk back and I argue, so feel free to follow me. We'll have a good time.
And do. Mel B. Cook.
So I'm at Mel B. Cook everywhere, like Mel B. like the Spice Girls, COOK, Instagram and Facebook. You can also find me on Monday and Wednesday on Attic Underground Radio. I have a 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time show called Midday Break with Mel B. Cook.
and does. And it's lit. Okay. Thank y'all, ladies, for tuning in today. Guys, it's your girl, Truly Inspired Martin. I am at It's trulyinspiredmartin.com. Everything for the podcast is also on my website. It's trulyinspiredmartin.com/ReCrown You or ReCrown You Podcast. Takes you to 2 different pages. One will take you to sign up to be on my list so that you can be a part of the baddies. We also got the other page that'll take you to all our recent episodes that are listed on the website. So you can stay connected all those ways. Y'all already know I'm Truly Inspired Martin on every platform. Wherever you find me, that's who I am, right? So we keeping it consistent or on brand. I hope that y'all enjoyed this conversation that we had today with these amazing ladies, and we definitely running back a part 2. We have to run back a part 2 because there's so much more girl talk to have, right? We definitely go through a lot of different things, and I think it's important to have those conversations. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed yourself. Look, I'm over here messing with buttons and stuff. I don't even know what buttons do what. This is my first time messing around on this platform for an actual recording. So look at this, jumping around. So y'all already know. We'll catch you on the next episode. This is the ReCrown You Podcast. Every Thursday morning, 7 a.m., a new episode drops. But, this is a little bonus for you. So depending on how many likes I get on these clips, on these little clips I drop, we might go ahead and drop it early. So y'all hold the power in your hands. So I love y'all. I hope that you guys enjoyed this conversation.
Thank
you. Y'all have been so great. I love this. We got to do it again.
Yes.
We will.
Yes. So, in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to catch y'all next time.
You know it's time.
ReCrown You. We all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once, and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.